education services. I will just say, as I finish my comments, the most legitimate existence of anyone in this country is the legitimate existence of a black man. Now, I understand that there are individuals that wish to use this as a political opportunity to sow seeds of doubt. But make no mistake about it, I am going to stand firm and flat-foot to ensure that our students get what they deserve. Because, just for the record, I was legitimate when I took an arrest against other administrations when they were closing down black schools. I was also legitimate when I went down to Springfield to fight for a fully elected school board.
Stop prosecuting people for protesting the genocide. It was right to shut down the DNC.
Get them out of here. Right.
You know, again here, I also just want to acknowledge the fact that since I've been in this position of authority, as you can tell, that they clearly expect the black man to do everything in less than 2 years. But I will say this, though. I do appreciate the energy. I do. And then the so-called experts, the so-called fiscally responsible stewards, are making the same argument when our people wanted to be liberated and emancipated in this country. The argument was, you can't free black people because it would be too expensive. They said that it would be fiscally irresponsible for this country.
Boy. We got to talk about woke Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, who has finally snapped after being confronted on the clear and overt corruption that is going on in this city because of his actions. Okay, we've talked about this before. Okay, we all know what's going on with Chicago in regards to all the chaos and destruction because of his soft on crime ideology. We all know what's happening with the illegal immigrants bankrupting the city, right? But he's also bankrupting the city in other ways as well, too, because he appears to be going full Tiffany Hinyard here and taking lavish trips on taxpayer dime to go see the Chicago Bears play in London, while claiming that he's going to London to attract business to Chicago. But we all know what he's really going there for. He's going there on vacation, okay, to live a life of luxury using the taxpayer dime. And unsurprisingly, when confronted on this, he, just like Tiffany Hinyard, plays the race card. Take a look.
Mayor, is this a good week to go to London for a Bears game? And also, who's going to pay for that trip?
All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to London to attract business to Chicago. Okay? I'm going to London to attract business in Chicago.
But are you going to the game?
Hold on a second. Because you already know the answer to that. But I just want to make sure that you do the people of Chicago service. Because I have to be very honest with you. It's pretty jacked up the way you frame that.
Right.
That is. It is. It's disrespectful and condescending.
Yes, it is.
That the black man is going to London for a game. It's disrespectful. It is. And people get away with that too much.
They do.
The governor went to Tokyo. The governor went to Tokyo to attract business. The mayor of Chicago is going to London to attract business, and while I'm there, I'm going to root for the Chicago Bears.
Can you confirm if you're not, or are you on leave from CTU?
Okay. All right. I'm the mayor of Chicago, you all. I'm the mayor of Chicago.
On leave.
Let me just look. I'm trying my best to keep composure for these last 15 months, but the fact that we are still trying to litigate stuff that I already beat. Let me just say this one more time. I already won. I am already the mayor of Chicago. Stop talking old news that nobody even cares about. Not one parent has ever asked me that question. Not one Chicagoan has ever asked me that question. Did you know what they have asked me? Will you make sure that the children who are unhoused in this city have an opportunity to lay down their head? That's what they're asking me. Will we have social workers and counselors, Mayor Johnson? My full-time and only job is to run this city, to love my black wife and my black children. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? You can't question a black man. Questioning a black man is racism, right? And bigotry. Notice how all these people do the same exact thing when they're in trouble, right? When Eric Adams was in trouble, what was he doing, right? He was playing a race card, okay? He had the black congregation right behind him, okay? This is what they do every single time there's criticism of these woke mayors, of these Negro mayors, right? First thing they do is that they roll out the black congregation as the backdrop for the questions that they're being asked when they're being criticized in order to deflect criticism, okay? And he didn't just do this with the question of why the hell is he going to London, right? What business do you have in London as a Chicago mayor? No. We have to recap a story that I talked about just a few days ago involving the Chicago Teachers Union trying to basically extort taxpayers for more money to fund their pensions and for them to get salary raises. Now, the CEO of Chicago Public Schools came out and said, no, this is fiscally irresponsible, which is almost unheard of in the United States of America, right? A politician coming out and saying, no, you can't get a raise, okay? We can't afford to do something, okay? You don't hear that. However, woke Mayor Brandon Johnson has been backlashing against the guy, essentially trying to get him to lose his job because of the fact that he is denying the Chicago public school teachers, the union, the handouts that they are demanding. And because the teachers union is a part of Brandon Johnson's group of friends that he is trying to get paid using taxpayer funds, he's upset, he's mad, he's angry, and he tried to get the school board to force the CEO to resign, right? To fire the CEO. The school board stood behind the CEO saying, no, we cannot afford this, right? We cannot afford to take out a $300 million high interest loan to add to the $7 billion debt that Chicago Public Schools already has. And Chicago as a city has over $30 billion in debt. No, we can't continue to do this, right? So they said, no, we stand with the CEO. And in protest of Brandon Johnson, they decided that, you know what, we're going to resign and step down in support of the CEO and against Brandon Johnson. Now, Brandon Johnson is appointing new puppets to sit on the school board, right, to do his bidding, okay, to extort taxpayer funds and give it to these teachers who are failing these children, right, to get the so-called black women paid, right? This is what he's trying to do, okay? And he's going to be questioned on this, okay? And once again, he plays the race card, okay? He starts boo-hoo, whine, and cry racism. He basically spammed the hell out of the race card more than I've ever seen before. I've never seen anything like this, okay? And I've seen a whole lot of spamming of the race card, but this is a whole nother level of race hustling here from an elected official. So without further ado, let's get into this.
So, Mayor, to the outside world, this kind of does look like, because the CTU was your biggest backer, to some it may look like a coup by the CTU to get rid of the board members who would not do your bidding and fire Pedro Martinez. Can you respond to that?
What's the question?
The question is, this looks like a coup by the CTU to get rid of Pedro Martinez. Was there collaboration with the CTU on your part to make this happen so that you could fire Pedro Martinez?
So every single mayor in the history of Chicago has had the authority to appoint board members to multiple boards. Guess who still has that authority? This mayor does. Thank you.
Reminder that we're only doing one question, one follow-up. I'm wondering if any of the board members can answer this question. Actually, if all of you can, just maybe even just a show of your hands. How many of you support taking out a short-term,
we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
For a teacher's contract?
If you have a question for the mayor of Chicago, you can ask me a question. What you are not going to do is litigate what the board has the authority to do once they're appointed. You can ask that once they are appointed. No. I'm not going to do it. It's disrespectful. Do you have a question for me?
Okay, I'm sorry that you brought them up here, and it is a
Do you have a
precedent
question for me? Ask me the question.
Okay.
Ask me if I support, I'm going to help you out.
Yeah.
Ask me the question if I believe that we should invest in our children and make sure we don't lay off brown and black women. Yes. Yes. I'm not going to tolerate cuts. That's what the issue has been in this city. You know what a better question would be? What are you willing to do with your power to ensure that a school district that stuffed black children in Willis wagons, what you should be asking me is, what are you willing to do where you had a district that have laid off black women? You should be asking me, what am I prepared and willing to do to ensure that our children get the education that they deserve? Anything necessary.
I'm going to ask my own questions. Thank you. The next question, I know that you've mentioned several times that you support an elected school board. You fought very hard for it, went down to Springfield. Many are calling what this is right now hypocritical, that you could have just let the process play out and let the election happen in November and then allow the 21 members to take office in January.
I use my authority that the people of Chicago gave me, which is to hurry up and make sure that our children get what they deserve. So here's the problem with that. Some of the same individuals who claim to support an elected representative school board only got the gospel once I became mayor of Chicago. These are the same individuals in Springfield that did not fight for adequate funding. That when massive school closings were taking place, none of them stood up in that moment to say, you know what, maybe the authority of the mayor is too much. Now you actually have a mayor who recognizes democracy, have given the people exactly what they asked for and what they voted for. And now all of a sudden they want to rehash the policies of Bruce Rauner, who called for state control and takeover. So we're not going down that route. We're going to invest in our children. As a parent, as a public school teacher, I'm going to do right by the people of Chicago. The people of Chicago voted for a parent. They got one of their own.
Wow. Wow. Incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible stuff. Again, this is what I cannot stand about so-called progressives. Everything this man just said, if you actually pay attention to politics, if you understand how politics works, if you actually pay attention to the actions of these individuals versus the things that they're saying, it all sounds good on paper, right? Oh, well, I'm just trying to help out the black and brown students. I want to make sure they're reading and writing and learning, and I want to make sure black and brown teachers don't get laid off, right? This man spamming the race card, okay? Just absolutely abusing it, okay? What he actually really means is that he's not looking out for the students. He doesn't give a damn about the students. He doesn't give a damn about the parents. What he's looking out for are his buddies, his friends. This guy worked for the Chicago Teachers Union, okay? He is still one of them, right? And he's getting his buddies paid via taxpayer dime and trying to disguise it as some type of social justice, as if he's doing right by the parents and doing right by the students. Well, no. He's only trying to enrich himself and his friends. That's what he's actually doing. And this is why I can't stand about progressives. They try to pretend as if they are standing on some moral high ground when they're not. They're not. They're just as greedy as everybody else that they claim is the problem, right? The greedy capitalists are the problem, right? But these people are just as greedy, if not more greedy. And they're more effed up about it because they pretend not to be, right? They pretend to be doing it for the people when they're just doing it for themselves. Ultimately, at the end of the day, The city cannot afford a $300 million high interest loan. But he doesn't give a damn. He doesn't care. He simply wants to get his buddies paid. And he will bankrupt the city in order to do so. And then will point the finger at you and say you're racist for asking him about it. This guy is in the process of appointing these individuals to the school board. And this reporter asked a legitimate question about, hey, how many of you people that Brandon Johnson is supporting, is appointing, how many of you want to take out this $300+ million high interest loan to get Brandon Johnson's friends paid? How many of you support that? That's a legitimate question. This guy loses his mind. And in order to deflect, he wants to pretend like this is about helping out the students. This is about the parents. When it's not about that. It's not about that at all. And again, this is what really pisses me off about these people. They want to deflect criticism by essentially saying that anybody that criticizes them is engaging in some form of bigotry. Like it's unfair to criticize a so-called person of color for anything, right? Even when you're clearly wrong. Well, you can't question a black man. You're only asking that question to me because I'm black. It's like, no, we're asking that question because you're corrupt. That's why. And if you weren't corrupt, then you wouldn't have to play the race card to defend yourself. As soon as these people start playing the race card, oh, you just hating on a black man. Oh, you only doing this because I'm black. As soon as they start doing that's just like them telling you, yeah, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. That's exactly what it is. It's just an admission of guilt. But hey, this is what Chicago voted for. This is what the black people in Chicago literally voted for. They voted for their taxpayer funds not to be used to help them, but to help the illegal immigrants in the teachers' unions and all of Brandon Johnson's friends that are running these nonprofits that are helping the illegal immigrants, right? So everybody else is benefiting except the black people that voted for Brandon Johnson. Because he's supporting a failing school system, a school system that has failed black and brown and white and whoever children, right? That has failed these children for decades. He is supporting it. And he is continuously trying to pour money into it, not to improve any outcome, because he keeps talking about how it's underfunded. No, it's not underfunded. I want you guys to listen to these statistics, right? This is shocking, but honestly, not so shocking. Okay, but listen to this. The school district, Chicago Public Schools, is spending almost $30,000 per student, which is almost about $12,000 to $14,000 more dollars per student that they're spending than the state is spending per student. They have increased the amount they're spending per student by 97% since 2012, and the proficiency in math for students has dropped 78% since then, and the proficiency in reading has declined 63% since then. So they have increased funding, and students are getting worse results. Students are getting dumber the more money that they spend. But according to the progressives, oh, no, we have a funding problem, right? We're not spending enough money. When clearly that's not the case. How much money do you need to spend? Because the more money that you spend, the dumber that the kids get, the worse outcomes that you get. But according to these people, no, it's never enough, right? It's never enough. You just got to keep spending more. The problem is that we haven't spent enough money, even though we continue to burn money on fire, funding this failing school district. But again, they want to point the finger at you and say, well, you're racist. You're responsible for black and brown teachers losing their jobs, black and brown women losing their jobs. And I'm like, well, screw it. They should lose their jobs. Because when you only have a fourth of the students being able to read and do math at proficiency, then yeah, they're not doing their jobs. They should be fired, right? There should be some cuts. Some people should lose their jobs. Some heads should roll. That's how it works. Or that's how it worked in the private sector. But when it comes to the government and these institutions, though, they don't believe in accountability. They don't believe in firing people that do a bad job. In my opinion, it seems like some cuts need to be made. Because there's a problem. Clearly, there's an issue. Clearly, Chicago Public Schools, they're not getting better outcomes the more money that they spend. But again, they want you to feel bad. They want you to be the bad guy for calling out the failure that is happening in these schools by these teachers and these administrators who are getting rich off of the taxpayers. And they're not doing their damn jobs. They're not educating the students. That's their job. That's their sole and only purpose. And when you fail to do that, yeah, you need to lose your job. Yeah, there should be some cuts. But apparently when you are of a certain skin color, right, you don't feel like you should be held responsible or there should be any accountability when you fail, right? But ultimately, you know, it's up to the voters to hold these people accountable. Brandon Johnson should not have been voted into office in the first place. But hey, this is what you get when you vote for people based off skin color and race and not based off the actual qualifications, their stated beliefs, because Brandon Johnson told you flat out what he believed. He wasn't hiding what he believed. And these people voted for him anyways because he's black. And this is what they gotten, right? The only people that have benefited is him and his buddies and the illegal immigrants. That's it. Everybody else is left holding the bag, right? Paying for all of this nonsense that is happening in this city that is going bankrupt. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.